In this lecture, we will learn how to create a Sobel filter using Python code. A Sobel filter is a type of image filter that will trace the outline of an image. We can use Python code with the OpenCV module to create a program that adds a Sobel filter effect to an image. Let's code the program. Up at the top of the code, we will import the CV2 module. Then we will create a variable named scale and set it equal to 1. Next, we will have a variable named delta and set it to a value of 0. After that will come a variable named depth, set equal to cv2.cv_16s. Next, we will read in our sample image by having a variable named src and setting it to cv2.imread, and passing in the string sampleimage.png as the first argument, and cv2.imreadColor as the second argument. Then we will set src equal to cv2.Gaussian blur, with src passed in as the first argument, a tuple containing 3, 3 as the second argument, and 0 passed in as the third argument. After that, we will create a variable named gray that we will set equal to cv2.cvtcolor and pass in src as the first argument, and cv2.color_bgr2gray as the second argument. Then we will create a variable named gradient x and set it equal to cv2.Sobel, with gray passed in as the first argument, depth passed in as the second argument, 1 passed in as the third argument, 0 passed in as the fourth argument, k size equals 3 passed in as the fifth argument, scale equals scale passed in as the sixth argument, delta equals delta passed in as the seventh argument, and border type equals cv2.borderDefault passed in as the eighth argument. Next, we will create a variable named gradient y and set it equal to cv2.Sobel, with gray passed in as the first argument, depth passed in as the second argument, 0 passed in as the third argument, 1 passed in as the fourth argument, k size equals 3 passed in as the fifth argument, scale equals scale passed in as the sixth argument, delta equals delta passed in as the seventh argument, and border type equals cv2.borderDefault passed in as the eighth argument. After that, we will create a variable named absGradientX and set it to cv2.convertScaleAbs with gradient x passed in. Then we will have a variable named absGradientY set to cv2.convertScaleAbs with gradient y passed in. Next, we will have a gradient variable set to cv2.addWeighted with absGradientX passed in as the first argument, 0.5 passed in as the second argument, absGradientY passed in as the third argument, 0.5 passed in as the fourth argument, and 0 passed in as the fifth argument. Now we need to show the image. We will call cv2.imShow and pass in the title for our window, which in this case will be Sobel Image Filter in Python, and then the gradient as the second argument. Finally, we will call cv2.waitKey and pass in 0, so that the window hangs after the program is finished running. When we run the code, you will notice that our code was successful in producing a Sobel filter effect on our image. In the next lecture, we will look at a recap of what we learned in this section of the course.